Good morning, guys. This is John Eliades, your ultimate business success strategist and the owner and founder of the IE International Group of Companies. Today, I'm going to speak to you guys about how do I know that I will be a billionaire? How do I know that I will be a billionaire? And as you're sitting there watching that, how do you know you're going to be whatever? I'm going to speak about business. I'm going to speak about money. Okay, so do you want to be a millionaire? How do you know you're going to be a millionaire? Now, there's a few things I want to discuss with you, and I'm going to take you on a journey on what specifically happened to me and how I know I will be a billionaire. So, let me tell you this. Do you know how big the cosmos is? The cosmos, the universe. Okay, the universe is infinite. No one really knows how big the cosmos is. It's infinite, okay? So if you actually had to think about how big is the universe, it is infinite. It doesn't stop. We don't know where it stops, right? And then you got to look at yourself in every single day you make decisions, right? You make certain decisions, okay? And those decisions determine the outcome of your life. They determine where you're going to go. Now, what holds you back? What holds you back? It's fear. It's fear that I might make the wrong decision. Okay? Now, over my lifetime, over the last 25 years, I've been in personal development. I'm always studying how to become successful and how to train the mind. Now, one of those things is you've got to understand that decisions determine your destiny. Now let's speak about business. How many business decisions do you think you have to make each day? How long do you take to make those decisions? And what are you scared of making those decisions? Because fear is the thing that holds you back. Fear is the thing that holds you back all the time. I am scared I'm going to make the wrong decision. I'm scared I'm going to lose money. I'm scared I'm going to die. I'm scared they're going to close. What will they say about me? You live in this fear. And because you live in fear, you do not make decision. And therefore, what happens? You stay out the game. You're not in the game anymore, right? Because of fear, you're out of the game. You do not make the decision. You do not get in. Then I read some investment books. Warren Buffett, Tony Robbins wrote a book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. So I read all these investment books, and if you look at the history of investment, the people that make the money, if you look at Ray Dalio, he wrote a great book, and I listen to him all the time on YouTube. I'm listening to all these investors. What are they saying? The guy who's in the game is going to make the money. If you had invested in anything, not anything, but if you had stayed in the market and you had invested over 5 years, 10 years time, you would have turned out to made more money than keeping it in the bank. You would have maybe beat inflation. You've got to look at this. And even if you don't, you've got to understand there is no failure. There is no failure. Failure is when you don't learn. So if you went into the game, you will not learn, right? So if you went into the game and you did not learn, that means you are failing because you did not learn it. But if you keep staying in the game, you keep investing, you keep doing something, you keep learning, even when you fail, you keep learning and you keep going in. Now, if you go and look at the Richard Bransons, Microsoft, Bill Gates, if you look at Donald Trump, if you look at Robert Kiyosaki, if you look at all these guys, they'll tell you they have failed so many times. And so many of us are scared to get into the game. They're scared to make a decision. Should I rent this? Should I not rent this? Should I go into commercial property? Should I not go into commercial? Should I buy Bitcoin? Should I not buy Bitcoin? Should I open that business? Should I not open that business? Should I hire that person? Should I not hire that person? All these decisions, and they don't make any decision because they're scared it's going to be wrong. Let me give you an example. I know in order to build businesses, you've got to find the opportunity, you've got to build the skill set in order to operate that business, okay? And a few years ago, I I found a lot of opportunities. Guys would come to me and say, listen, we have an opportunity to buy this business. We have an opportunity for this tender. We have this opportunity for this, X, Y, Z. And then what I would do is I opened a company called IE Capital, right? And so therefore we would come together, and as shareholders, we would invest in businesses, and we would go and buy businesses out. And or we would go and invest in tenders and that. I remember we invested in this project to build 600 houses, right? And it was about a 60 million rand project. And I raised the money, we invested in this project, and it was going excellent, excellent. Everyone was happy. You know what? When you bring an opportunity together, when you invest and you take it and you bring the investment to the investor, you are his biggest hero. You are his biggest hero. And then what happened over the years, as standard, unfortunately, governments start paying. They stop paying for 6 months. They start paying for a year. So there was millions of rands waiting for there. But money's relevance is time. Let me ask you this. If you make R1 million in a week, is it different than making R1 million over 2 years? It's a big difference. So instead of a project being over a year or 2 years, it's gone nearly 5 years, still haven't been paid out. So now from a hero, I become this villain. Hey, yes, this guy brought a bad investment and all that. But on paper, I looked at it, I did the research, and this is what people don't get. Business is risky. You look at it, you assess the risk based on your skill set, and you go into a business. Now, this is what happened. A lot of those investors got upset, okay? And they blamed me. They said, listen, this is... And what they did is they wanted out. They wanted out. Now, this is what happens. As soon as we have investments, right, we put in money, we invest in something, here comes other opportunities. So I built a brand. Hey, listen, you have a business, you want to invest in something, you don't have the capital, you come to IE Capital, we will invest in you guys, right? We will invest in the business opportunity. Now, what happened was the one business opportunity went well, and then it went bad. It went well, and then it went bad. Then the investors pulled out. One thing I know is you look at it, you look at the investment, and you say, listen, what did I learn out of this investment? What do I know? Okay, so government does pay, but they always pay late. So maybe we shouldn't, if we want to go into those projects, we need more cash flow. We're going to make a lower return. There are things we got to consider. Maybe we don't want to anymore invest in building houses and uplifting and all that. Maybe we want to invest in restaurants. Maybe we want to buy property. Maybe we want to do that. But the concept was brilliant. The concept that I've come into over the last years, IE Capital, get a few guys together, buy businesses, look at it, because I believe businesses give the best returns. But a lot of people have a bit of money, but I don't have the money to take on the whole business. So I bring those people together, we invest in business. But when the investment went wrong, based on my learning and reading all the books and studying the most successful people in the world, I said, let's not get out, guys. Let's not get out. Let's stay in the game. This investment's bad. That doesn't mean they're all going to be bad. With the next one, and you know what? We did a next one, and a lot of those guys did not come in. A lot of those guys are still, today, they're still upset with me, okay? But they went out. They didn't go back and say, Johnny, let's look at the next investment. What did we learn on that? And they weren't even willing to listen. And guess what happened to the next investment? Bam! The other investment did not go. So over a ratio of time, some investments go well, but the investments that you go into must be so good. You mustn't waste your time for small. When you go into a business, you build a business to become a great business. That's the whole thing about me. I want to build a great business. I don't want to just pay the bills. And if it fails, what did I learn out of it? Now, what is happening in the market with you, in the market overall? Most people are out of the game. Most people don't want to stay in the game. Most people aren't going to become billionaires because of a failure, because they did something and it didn't go right. They're not willing to learn from it, and they stay out the game. They're not willing to go rent that office space because COVID killed them and their business went down. So they judge their whole life on this one bad decision that they made. And maybe it wasn't a bad decision. Maybe it was, hey, who knew COVID was going to come? A lot of businesses are closed down because of COVID. They had nothing to do with that. That was COVID that closed them down. And now they are in so much issues. You can't blame that. You got to get back into the game. So how do I know I'm going to be a billionaire? Because I keep pushing in the game. Some of my investments, the guys have made millions. Some of the guys who pulled out, they're still waiting for the money. They weren't willing to get back into the game, And I'm about to close one of the biggest investments of my life because I stayed in the game. I stayed in the game. A lot of you guys are sitting on the sidelines. You're never going to become a billionaire. You never become a millionaire. You're never going to be successful because you're not in the game. You've got to stay in the game if you want to be successful. Got it? This is Johnny Eliades, your ultimate business success strategist. Get your ass off the couch and go get into the game and go make $1 million. Thank you very much, guys. Cheers. Bye.